off the heels of the most unique Money in the Bank pay-per-view event in history, welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your ridiculously over good brother, Anthony Florio, as always, joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Phenom Michael Bullock, the Twisted Angel and First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Dee Woodson. Wow. Oh, where do we begin on this very newsworthy edition of Monday Night Raw this evening? And there's really nothing more to say except let's just dive right on in. We started it off with the man, Becky Lynch, and out comes Asuka, who we thought had won, the contract of the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, because normally, as we all know, the Money in the Bank ladder match is for a contract for a guaranteed championship opportunity. Not this one. Apparently, Becky went to the authorities, the powers that be, and she asked that the stakes for the women's match be raised. And sure enough, the stakes were raised. The match that we saw last night on the women's side, that was not for the women's Money in the Bank contract. Oh, no. That match was actually for the Raw Women's Championship. Asuka won. So instead of Asuka carrying around the briefcase with the contract inside, Asuka is now the Raw Women's Champion. Becky Lynch relinquishing the title because the man is about to be a mother. If you didn't read the big dirt sheets that came out earlier today, it was first reported this afternoon by Michael Bullock in our Wrestling Forum Messenger chat. Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are expecting their first child. So all I can say, folks, is take a long, hard look at the man, because you're not going to be seeing her. You're very likely not going to see her until early 2021, because it's 9 months. Standard pregnancy is 9 months.
But also, there's also a 3-month grace period as well for any new mother. They normally get about between 10 to 12 weeks of maternity leave on top of that. So, Anthony, we're looking at 1 full year for Becky Lynch.
And it's very likely that that Becky Lynch, barring something out of the ordinary, it looks like we're not going to be seeing the man compete not only in the Royal Rumble, but I think she might be out of WrestleMania 37.
She will be out of WrestleMania. Depending on when she conceived it, and now this is where we got to find out the timing, because timing will be everything that will hinder. She's obviously out of Royal Rumble, and I do believe she will not be available for WrestleMania. I think she's out of Mania as well.
I agree. Because it's March 28th.
Yeah.
It's scheduled for March 28th of 2021. As of now, scheduled for SoFi Stadium, but
yeah, we'll wait and see what happened on that. But the thing is that, and this is going to be the $1 million question: when is the due date? Because once we find out when she is going to have the baby, then you can put the clock of the 3 months after.
Bullock informed me during our
hold on. I'll bring it up. I heard some dirt sheets saying that they're expecting in December.
All right. So December Then you go January, February, March. Outside chance of WrestleMania, definitely out of Royal Rumble.
Yeah, we're very likely not going to see the man in the women's Royal Rumble match.
No.
Wherever the Rumble is come next January.
Yep.
But a puncher's chance. Keywords being puncher's chance that she could still somehow, some way work WrestleMania 37. But
I would not be surprised if she misses it.
I agree with Michael Bullock. I think it would be too soon for her to come back. Obviously, this is her first baby. This is what she wanted. She even alluded to it because People Magazine actually picked up the story, and she said that for a long time now she wanted this. She wanted it to be a mother. So obviously, for us fellas, we don't know that feeling.
No.
There is only one person in the room that can give us that, and that's Dee Dee. And we'll get to her in a little bit.
Absolutely. And I'm sure Dee Dee's going to have a lot to say on this because she's been through this on several occasions.
Yes.
So nobody knows that better than her. And we'll get into that in just a moment. But the double news coming out of this, Becky Lynch is going to be a new mother, and Asuka is now the new Raw Women's Champion. And well, let me just sum it up like this. This was about more than championships and storylines. It was about the top star in the industry revealing she is going to be a mother at the height of her career and popularity. It was short, it was sweet, and it was in line with Lynch's on-screen persona, while showing a realness about her that has long made her one of the most beloved figures in all of WWE. Asuka winning the title is fitting given her victory at Money in the Bank and just how extraordinary she has been during this empty arena era of WWE television. All kidding about the angry Japanese gibberish aside. That she has a plethora of heel contenders to do battle with, not the least of which being Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, makes her the perfect option to carry the title for the foreseeable future. And I think turning her as a babyface, I think that would definitely help that cause as well. But you don't have too many babyface challengers on the Raw side. So I think turning her face in this instant, because, they had an emotional moment. I mean, once Becky said, I'm going to be a mother, Asuka and the man embraced. And you think about all the wars that they've had. I mean, especially the last two Royal Rumbles. When Asuka went over Becky for the SmackDown Women's title at the Royal Rumble in 2019, and then this year in Houston, when the man got the win back from the Raw Women's Championships. So, but there's no question about it. I mean, there was another great segment in this show, but all I know is, to me, I would have to say this is as great as the other segment was, and it was great. You got to give this the segment of the night right here because of the emotion involved and everything else. And you thought Asuka was entertaining before. Just imagine how entertaining is Asuka going to be as Raw Women's Champion. That's all I know. I mean, you saw how excited she was when she got the word that she was the new champion. Doing the funny bit that I've been loving from her so much over the last several months. So this, to me, without a doubt, the segment of the night. And on behalf of all of us here at the Wrestling Forum, be it Ridiculously Raw, the Wednesday Night Mayhem, the Cerebral Smack Talk, on behalf of all of us here, we would like to send out our heartfelt congratulations to Becky Lynch and to Seth Rollins on this big announcement. And Becky, we wish you all the best. I mean, it's going to be hard for all of us, but it's going to be particularly hard for myself and MF. I mean, me, because, Becky Lynch was, the face of the Raw Women's division. and she held that title for well over a year, probably well over 400 days.
420. It was the longest reign in Raw Women's history. The Raw Women's title, she actually broke the record. I
Yes,
think
she
it
did.
was 421 days. I think she had the belt.
Amazing. Winning the title as part of that first ever women's main event at WrestleMania last year, beating Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair, winning both the Raw and the SmackDown women's title in the process. She didn't hold the SmackDown belt long. She only held that for about 6 weeks, but here, she held that for well over 400 days, and what an accomplishment. I mean, it's going to be particularly hard for myself and for MF. I mean, like I said, for me, because she was the face of Team Red in the women's division. But it's going to be particularly hard for MF because MF has been a diehard fan of Becky Lynch for the longest time, ever since she came in to WWE. I mean, especially when she debuted on the main roster as part of the Women's Evolution, the night that she and Charlotte and Sasha came in, when Stephanie introduced them a number of years ago. And I know MF was even more excited when Becky Lynch was the first female draft pick of SmackDown Live as part of the 2016 draft when the brand extension restarted. So particularly hard for the both of us because Becky did us all proud. I mean, she had a lot of great years. She had about 3 good years on SmackDown Live before she came over to Monday Night Raw last year, and I am certainly grateful for the year of service that the man gave us here on Monday Night Raw. You certainly represented Team Red very well, my dear, no doubt about it. Your personality, your wrestling ability, just awesome, and we congratulate you. And the rest of this year is going to be very hard without you, but we're going to soldier on and we're going to fight. And I couldn't think of anyone better to carry the torch than the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. All funny, ha-ha, jet gibberish stuff aside, I mean, she can still go, and we're in good hands. That's all I know. We're in good hands. So, segment of the night, there's no question about it. So, good old MF Michael Fletcher. I mean, yes, it's hard for me, but I know it's going to be especially tough on you, especially after all the great years she gave you on SmackDown Live.
Yeah, absolutely. Officially, it's 398 days that Becky Lynch was the Raw Women's Champion. She absolutely shatters the record for the longest reign in Monday Night Raw history. Her Raw reign, basically, the previous record is Ronda Rousey at 231 days. And she absolutely laps it by a considerable amount. Other than that, the only other that had a triple-digit reign was actually Alexa Bliss. Had 2 triple-digit reigns, one of 222 days and one of 111 days. So, I mean, just that alone just tells you how amazing or how unbelievable Becky Lynch has been as the champion. It's tough. It was a shocking announcement. I think we all were kind of caught a little bit off guard when we heard about it earlier today. When we heard that Becky was going to be talking on Monday Night Raw, we're like, oh, all right, cool. It's going to be, maybe it's about Money in the Bank. Now she knows who her opponent is. Now, we'll wait and see what happens then. But then we heard something a little more later on that, guys, this is a little more serious than thought. And I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on? Is it an injury? Is it something? Once everything started playing out, and I think we were shocked at first because Becky Lynch had the Money in the Bank briefcase, which was Asuka's briefcase, and we're like, wait a minute, what on earth? Why she got the Money in the Bank briefcase for? What's really going on now? So then Asuka comes out We hear the big announcement that no, the Money in the Bank was not your typical Money in the Bank ladder match for the women. The Raw Women's title was in there, and I'll openly admit my jaw hit the floor when I saw the belt. I'm like, oh my god, what in the world just happened? Sure enough, and then the big announcement: Becky was pregnant. Um, I'm ecstatic for Becky Lynch. I'm ecstatic for her. She's in her prime, like you said, Anthony. She's only 33 years old. She's literally in the prime of her career. But like the article said in People magazine, she wanted this so bad. She wanted motherhood. She wanted it to be a mother. She wants to go through everything that she will encapsulate as a mother. You know, the whole process of it and the whole 9 yards. I think one of the biggest moments and the awesome moments was all the guys in the locker room area, from Liv Morgan to Natalia to the Street Profits and Bianca Belair to Ray Ray to Ricochet. All the guys congratulating Becky Lynch on motherhood and being a mother, and the long now this new journey of her life. She loves the business. She loves WWE. She's very passionate about it, and she's going to be missed. I think that's the best way to say it. She will be missed by a lot of the fans around the world. I'm going to miss her immensely. But, I hope this is not. I hope it's we'll see you soon, Becky. I hope this isn't goodbye. Because sometimes, you know, having a child really changes a person's outlook on life. You know, the road a WWE superstar's life is wicked hard. It's even harder being on the road 300 nights a year, the whole 9 yards. I think right now it's just basically just her well-being. Hopefully, the son or the daughter, whoever this little bundle of joy that's inside Becky's belly right now, will be as happy, healthy, um, full of love and full of joy for her and Seth. And I really don't think there's really nothing more for me to add here. It was the most powerful moment we've had on Raw since literally Roman Reigns. And I think that's the best way to say it. This was one of those moments where you didn't need to do a storyline. Just let real life write the story for you. And I think WWE handled it with such class, with dignity, with grace, which is quite a few things we can't say about WWE nowadays. But this was, without a doubt, one of the best moments of the year. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Very well said, MF. Very well said. I mean, like you said, this this was one of the most heartwarming moments tonight. I mean, we didn't know what to expect. I mean, when we saw her come out with a briefcase, it's like we were all wondering, like, what's she doing with it? And you could just see the emotion coming out of Becky Lynch. I'm like, something must be going on. And then when Asuka came out, and then that's when she said it wasn't for the Money in the Bank contract. it was for the Raw Women's title, and that's when. And after she told Asuka, "You go be a warrior. I'm gonna go be a mother," and that's when she officially confirmed that she was pregnant. And you could just see Asuka was basically happy for her, and then backstage, everybody was back there congratulating her, from Rey Mysterio to Natalia to the Street Profits, Bianca Belair. I mean, I could go on. Even the chairman, Vince McMahon, even congratulated her as well. And it was one of the most emotional moments we've seen on Monday Night Raw since Roman Reigns when we were there, guys. When we were there, when he made the announcement that the leukemia came back. I mean, and we should know this. I read that article, and it was a great article about that they wanted kids, and it's going to happen. I mean, and Florio, you know this, being the man of the good faith that you are. A baby is probably the biggest blessing that anybody can ever imagine.
Certainly.
And that's what Seth and Becky are going to experience. The biggest blessing in their lives, to know that they're going to have whatever whether it's a boy or a girl. And yeah, I mean, it's not only a loss for Fletch and Florio, but it's a loss for everybody in WWE, because she was probably one of the most popular figures today, ever since she became the man. I mean, fans were right on her, by her side the whole time. And they were going to be by her through this whole pregnancy. And I couldn't be more happy for her and Seth. I wish the two of them the very best. And like you said, Florio, on behalf of all of us here at the Wrestling Forum, we want to offer our congratulations to Seth Rollins, to Becky Lynch, and hopefully this beautiful bundle of joy will bring a lot of happiness to the two of them. Congratulations, Becky, and yeah, you're definitely going to be missed by everybody, from all your fans that cheered for you. But all I can say is, you got this, girl. I think you're going to be one hell of a mother. Dee Dee, what's in yours?
When I posted on Twitter, I posted from one mom to another. I think she's going to be a great mom. There's no greater gift than motherhood. I mean, you go through hell for 9 months, and even worse for the labor, but once you see that little bundle that they put in your arms, you forget everything. You forget all the pain. You forget all the sickness and the stuff that goes along with the pregnancy, and just holding that little bundle, and going through this, through 5 births. I can say, this was got to be, the biggest blessing and joy that you can have. In my case, I was blessed not just with kids, but I was blessed with special needs kids. And, it takes a strong person to be able to handle, some of the things that we've had to handle, especially with my oldest. But I've also been through the agony of miscarriage, the having a baby that did not survive, that passed away in the womb. I've been through that, and those are hard. It's hard to deal with that. It's hard to deal with even the loss after knowing that you are pregnant, after knowing that you're what you have to go through, and even having a child, which now he's had his own child that has gone through the same thing he went through, where he was in NICU for a week. You know, my son Michael had a baby just this last April, and his little junior also went through the NICU for a week, just like his dad did. And even that, I mean, that for a mother who gives birth and then has to leave the hospital and leave their baby there, that's hard. But at the same time, you know, you're as much fighting for your child there as you were when you were carrying it. And I mean, it's just, once you, like I said, once you see that baby, nothing else matters. It's that child. And that's got to be, you know, the biggest thing that she's going to be facing now that she's expecting, now that she's going to have this child. And, you know, I pray for her to have a healthy pregnancy. I pray that she has a healthy child. I pray that, you know, nothing happens through the pregnancy, and that, you know, everything goes well. But yeah, it's going to possibly be a year, maybe even longer than that, depending upon if she wants to go back that quickly. Some parents in this business, they don't go back that quickly. But a lot of them, you know, if they're that as devoted as I think she is, she probably will be back, I would say, by probably this time next year. And, you know, it's going to be a joy for them. You know, I want to congratulate both Seth and Becky. You know, here they are, they're engaged, and now they're getting ready to bring a new life into the world. And, you know, it couldn't have been said any better than, you know, Titus was saying in the back. You know, it's one of those things. It's just a joy. You can, once you have kids, that's what you live for. You live for your kids. You want to do whatever you can for your kids. You know, they come first. You take a back seat for yourself, and you focus on that life that you have been blessed with, that you've been given. And there's nothing else like it. So congratulations, Becky. Congratulations to Asuka for getting the title. And, you know, just like I said, I pray the best for you and Seth, and for this little one that you're going to be carrying for 6 to 9 months, like Fletch said, depending upon when it was actually conceived. So yeah, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, we got a lot more to get into, so let's move on here. As tough as it was to move on from that, we had Bobby Lashley squaring off against Humberto Carrillo. This was a no disqualification matchup. Bobby Lashley wins the match, 8 minutes and 45 seconds. Hey, MF, Bobby Lashley actually puts forth a halfway decent fight for once.
Halfway decent fight, no doubt about it. It was definitely a good matchup, without a doubt. And I actually enjoyed it. I thought this was a solid 2.5-star fight. But I also want to talk about the little thing after. And that was basically when MVP was talking with Bobby Lashley and saying, "Hey man, you've been stuck in a rut right now. You've been in this purgatory for a long time. When was the last time that you've been a champion? When was it the last time that you were actually going for a title?" And all of a sudden, I kind of was sensing, I'm like, that's an interesting take by MVP. But then he started talking about the SmackDown title, and I'm like, why would Lashley go after the SmackDown title when he's a Raw guy? Are you thinking of jumping? Coming to the land of opportunity? Bobby, I'm going to encourage you right now, don't jump. And don't even think about coming down to SmackDown. Because you might end up getting these hands by our Universal Champion. I'm just firing the warning shot right now, Lashley. Don't come to Team Blue. Because you're going to end up black and blue back to the red brand. Nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
What rating?
He gave it 2.5.
Oh, 2.5. Yeah, I probably didn't hear. So, yeah, I'll give it about 2.5 for the match as well. I mean, yeah, it was pretty interesting to hear what MVP said to Lashley. I mean, but I agree with Fletch. I think he needs to stay on Raw. That's just how I feel. So, nothing more to add. D.D. Woodson, it's yours.
D.D., are you there?
D.D. Woodson, are you there?
I don't. Dee Dee's mic is muted, so I guess I'm just gonna have to take it here.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take it, Florio.
Yeah, no problem. 2.5 stars. The rebuild of Lashley continued here with a win over a guy who, despite uneven booking of late, was a top contender to the United States Heavyweight Championship not all that long ago. The almighty Lashley has been hugely wasted over the last year or so, left to wallow in mediocrity and cringeworthy storylines rather than excelling as the dominant ass-kicking heel he should be. Thanks to some solid booking and some momentum-building performances, he finally appears to be on his way back to the level of competition he should have been at since returning to the company 2 years ago. If this continues, a possible WWE Championship feud with Drew McIntyre should not be ruled out. So I'm just saying. Nothing really more to say on this. We'll await for Dee Dee's return. She probably stepped away for a moment, maybe. I don't know what's going on, but we'll keep an eye out for Dee Dee's presence here. Moving on to the next matchup. This was a cutout here. It was Angel Garza versus Akira Tozawa. Angel Garza won the match, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. And you notice, guys, there appeared to be some dissension among the ranks of Zelina Vega's stud stable, if you will. But anyways, what does it say about Tozawa, who is 2-0 in the Cruiserweight tournament, and NXT as a brand when he is on Raw getting squashed in uncompetitive matches already in progress? That booking issue aside, this was as good a way as any to sell the idea of the unexpected and impromptu. Drew McIntyre has the previous history with Andrade and Vega's crew, so it made sense that they would write the latest chapter in their story, even if the U.S. champ could do without another high-profile televised loss. So, okay, Dee Dee's back in. All right. Dee Dee, we need to get your thoughts on Lashley and Carrillo, their no disqualification match, real quick.
I'll give it about 2.5 stars. It was solid, but it never really got out of first gear, so not much more I'm going to add to it.
All right, fair enough. And now we're going to get into this. we've seen it before. We saw it a month ago. We saw it back on the April 14th edition of Monday Night Raw. We're seeing it again a month later. Champion versus champion. WWE champion Drew McIntyre squaring off with the United States heavyweight champion Andrade. Drew McIntyre won the match in about 8.5 minutes. Michael Bullock, one of the many problems that Monday Night Raw has had over the years, repetitiveness, and we saw it here again tonight, even though it was a good match.
Yeah, like you said, even though it was a good match, it's what the problem is. This is what Monday Night Raw has been known for, repetitiveness. We saw this about a month ago. I mean, they should have. I mean, they could have done something much better for Drew McIntyre. So I'm only going to give it 2.5. I mean, because of the repetitiveness of this. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. D. Woodson, well, all I can say is we got something that we both like. Repetitiveness. Yeah, right.
Yeah, this gets old, having the same matches over and over and over. And here we have Drew versus Andrade again. But then again, we just got through seeing Zelina's little male faction here, kind of falling apart, and Drew pretty much giving everybody a claymore to kind of clear out the ring so they could have this match. It was a good match, but again, we have the repetitiveness, and that they make Andrade look like a second-class citizen just because of the fact that he's the U.S. champion. He's the minor champion. So, yeah, I'll give it 2.5 to 3. But yeah, it's just getting tired of the repetitiveness, ready for something new, and even what I hear for next week isn't going to be much newer either. It's going to be an older match coming back, or something like that. I don't know. I'm getting tired. Okay, so we'll just move on.
Yeah, we certainly do, especially after all the time we spent on that opening moment there. But anywho, I'm going to give it about 3 for the effort. It was a well-worked match, but it was disappointing to see the company go back to it so quickly. I mean, it would be one thing if they were having an actual feud and not just feeding Andrade to McIntyre. Obviously, it works for McIntyre, and he is the bigger priority. But at some point, this company needs to stop having their tag champions and secondary singles champions lose non-title matches. The King Corbin news seems to indicate that WWE won't be going with firm brand split rules. Quite frankly, SmackDown needs more help than Raw these days. So that's really what that is. And I mean, even a shorter match between McIntyre and Andrade is a damn good time. Psychology was smart, as Andrade not only capitalized on the work Rollins put in the night before, but also revisited the torn biceps injury he inflicted on McIntyre back in NXT. A cerebral performer whose in-ring work gets better with every week. The U.S. champ, though, really should be consistently hanging around the top of the card rather than being the WWE Champion's television program. McIntyre nonchalantly referencing the Interbrand Challenge when it has yet to be explained in any meaningful manner was a curious decision. But we'll see about Corbin. I mean, could a Haas battle with Corbin could be fun, but I really don't know, considering we're all not fans of Corbin in any way. But that's all there is to say. So I'm going to give it 3 for the effort because it was a good match. So MF, next week, Raw, our champion, Drew McIntyre, is going up against your King Corbin. Oh, boy.
And enemy number 1 of Monday Night Raw after he basically threw 2 of your men off the roof last night. So yeah, so Corbin really got some heat on him for what he did. But it's gonna be a solid fight, and yeah, I agree. 3 stars for the match. Uh, could have it been better? Absolutely. But for all in all tempted purposes, it served its purpose and everything else. It was not bad. The little bit of the drama that we've been noticing lately, especially as it pertains to what's going on in with Angel Garza, Austin Theory, and with Andrade. I mean, Zelina, sweetheart, you better get your boys in gear, man. I don't know what's going on. I'm not liking it. If you're a member of the crew, and yeah, you gotta get your stuff together there, baby girl, or else this could really break down and explode as very soon. So it looks like the honeymoon is over, and already they're starting to fight like Hatfields and McCoys. Not good. Not good. Florio, it's yours.
All right, and we move on to what is this? The Women's Tag Team Champions, exclusively to Friday Night SmackDown. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Now, here's the thing: you're Women's Tag Team Champions. You're not just exclusive to one brand. You can be on all the shows. And what a nice treat for us to have Bliss and Cross on Monday Night Raw this evening with a moment of bliss, interrupted by MF's favorite female tag team, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, the Iconics. They're back. Yes, indeed, the femme fatale, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. And then it led into a 2-for-1 deal. We had the moment of bliss, and the Iconics wanted a tag team title matchup, but Bliss was like, we're not doing that. But they says, okay, maybe not a title match, but we want a match with you nonetheless. And well, here you go. Non-title matchup, Bliss and Cross, the women's tag team champions against the Iconics, and the Iconics win the match 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Dee Woodson, we just had ourselves a championship committee moment. It's official. We're going to see it next Monday night on Raw. Iconics get a chance to regain the titles.
Yep, they get a chance to regain the titles. They started out the segment, talking about Becky and her big announcement, and then the Iconics come in, and pretty much they say, the baby pretty much upstaged them, and the news, and I think that's kind of what led to them wanting the match, but also for the fact that they were the tag champions. The second set of tag champions that we've had, and here they are. They're wanting to regain that, and now we have our championship moment where they're going to. So it's nice to have them back after 7 months. But the match, I didn't get a lot out of it, so I'm only going to give it like 1.5 stars. So it's nice to have them back. It's nice to have a little bit of a change up, but it's just they're back to the same way they were when they first started. So yeah, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
All right. I'm gonna give it 2 stars for the effort. I mean, for 2 performers who have not seen regular in-ring action in several months, the Iconics looked like they hadn't missed a beat. They cut a frenetic pace, always moving and providing the sort of energy and entertainment value that has been sorely missing in their absence. They have such charisma and chemistry that they are an asset to any division. Considering the lack of genuine women's tag teams, their return is welcome. And if tonight's match was any indication, they work well with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, and they'll produce quality matches, especially in a longer match where they can slow down and let spots breathe a bit. And so we're going to get it tonight. We're going to get it next week. Another Raw versus SmackDown matchup. Iconics have a chance to bring the women's tag team championships back to Monday Night Raw after the Kabuki Warriors coughed it up to SmackDown at WrestleMania when Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross won the titles. So we'll have to wait and see on that. So, a changing of emotions for MF. First, he was sad about seeing Becky Lynch go, but MF, we may have lost Becky Lynch, but your favorite tag team, your favorite female tag team, they're back.
Yeah, I know. I think I said it best when I said double the pleasure, double the fun. It's definitely double trouble for Didi Bullock and for Florio, but celebration for me. The Iconics are back, and yeah, like you said, the Femme Fatale, Billy Kay, Peyton Royce, the saucy Aussie, as I like to call her. They're back, and they're better than ever, stronger than ever, and they won. They did what they had to do. They used the cunningness that they do, the tag team formula that they've always had, and it worked, and it brought them to the dance. So that was the same thing that brought them the women's tag team title once before, brought them to win the night, and sure enough, it was a big win. So nice victory for her, nice victory for them, I should say. And like you said, next week is going to be a big opportunity as the Iconics tries to upend the reigning champions on Monday Night Raw. Like you said, it's Raw versus SmackDown. Obviously, I'm going to be rooting for Nikki and Alexa to successfully defend. Anthony, I know you're definitely going to be hoping for the Iconics to get the belt back, bring it to the Red brand. But like you said, the belts are exclusive to all three brands. So, trust me, I would not mind seeing the Iconics back on SmackDown, making an appearance once in a rare while. So, nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, this was a solid 2-star fight. It's all yours.
Yeah, I'll give it 1.5 to 2. I mean, it's good to see the Iconics back after 7 months, and yeah, it looks like they haven't lost a step since then. So, yeah, there's really nothing more that needs to be added. Let's just move on, Florio.
All right, and then from there, we're back to cutout action here. A 6-man tag team matchup: Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, and R-Truth against MVP Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne. The face team wins the match: Ricochet, Alexander, and R-Truth. R-Truth with the lie detector on MVP for the win in 4.5 minutes. And no comment here. It was a comedy bit because R-Truth pulled out the can't be comedy nonsense, and we don't do nonsense on this show. So that's all there is to say on that. And then from there, a lot of backstage stuff. And then it led into a very interesting tag team matchup here. Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black. Yes, they are alive, if you're wondering. Yes, Corbin threw them off, but they landed on a secondary roof 6 feet below. So not as bad as you think. But Mysterio and Black were in tag team action against Seth Rollins and Murphy. And Mysterio and Black win the match via disqualification in an even 12 minutes. Even with the DQ, this was definitely the fight of the night. This was about 3 to 3.25 stars. I mean, but then from there, I mean, oh, my. Seth Rollins is a man in the midst of a crisis. Not only is he about to be a father, but the shocking revelation also comes as he is processing another high-profile loss, despite labeling himself the Monday Night Messiah. He is lost, uncertain of who and what he is. It is taking its toll and leading him to lash out in shocking and violent fashion, as Rey Mysterio found out tonight. It is a great bit of character development and storytelling, even if the disqualification made no sense. Rollins was, after all, involved in the match and cannot really be DQ'd for doing what he did by breaking up the 619. The mangling of Mysterio after the fact, yes. After the break, Rollins approached Black backstage and claimed not to know what happened to him out there. Then he simply walked off and did not get involved in the brawl between Black and Murphy that ensued, suggests that he may be telling the truth. Either the way, the Rollins character is a hell of a lot more interesting after tonight's show than it has been in weeks. So, but all I can say is what we saw, what he did to Mysterio tonight. What he did to Mysterio tonight was far and away the most cringeworthy thing we have seen, well, in WWE since Randy Orton did what he did to Jeff Hardy's ear. We all remember that. And because he took the point of the steel step into the and the point of the steel step was in the eye of Rey Mysterio. I think that's all, and that's all we need to say about that. So but 3 to 3 1/4 stars, though it was the fight of the night by default, even with the DQ finish. But there's nothing more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. I mean, we've seen a lot of violent things in our day, but Seth Rollins, he went there and then some on Ray Ray.
Oh man, that was horrible what he did to Rey Mysterio. That was absolutely sadistic. Even I've seen, like you said, we've seen some stuff in our day, and that really shocked the living daylights out of me. Yeah, it was pretty bad, but you know, it's interesting because it was kind of one of those unique situations. I don't know, but it was good. It was good. But and you know, I gotta say, we'll wait and see how it plays out. And you know what happened with Seth. I don't know, man. He, from where he came out at first, just being so weird and so whatever, and now here he is and he's doing this. I mean, for most of the fight, it looked like he literally checked out. It literally looked like he checked out of the fight almost 2/3 through the fight. He's like, what is going through his mind? What is he thinking? What's in his head? Could it be, you know, because of the loss last night? Could it have been because of, you know, the news about Becky being pregnant? Maybe he's kind of, you know, like a deer in the headlight type thing, or and then you just saw him just get into this whole other level of sadisticness, and you're just like, what's with you, Rollins? And just the violent nature that he did, it was wow. You know, we've seen some crazier stuff in our day, but that really took the cake here tonight, y'all. So 3 1/4, 3 1/2, no doubt about it. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 3 1/4. I agree, but that was one of the most cringe moments on Monday Night Raw. Oy. I mean, the point of the steel steps on Rey Mysterio's eye. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't lose an eye after that. I mean, what Seth Rollins did was totally unprofessional, and I'm going to use an old saying of Fletcher and Florio, and you want to know what that saying is? Come on, Florio.
What is that saying? Tell me.
Well, what we did when we first got started with the wrestling forum, it was pointless, unnecessary, unacceptable, inexcusable, irresponsible, and borderline reprehensible. That's all I'm going to say on it. Dee Dee, what's yours?
Dee Dee, you muted your mic.
Oh, yeah. I could say he had a little bit of a pity party for the loss of the title, but yeah, he could be just, you know, soaking it in, you know, everything that's going on. but at the same time, you know, I've seen this kind of stuff happen way too much, where they're just kind of playing the mental disability type thing, where they're just, the action just causes them to freak out. And yeah, I mean, it got to the point to where it got too graphic, too personal, and he lost it, and he took it way too far. And that's the only thing that I have the biggest issue with on the whole thing, is the fact that he did take it to that level that was just a wee bit too far, because it could have been really dangerous, to the point to where he we don't know exactly what part of Ray's eye got hurt, if it was the actual eye or if it was around that area or what. All we know is that he damaged an area right in there, and that's something that you just you don't do. That's not something that you do to your wrestling family, because these guys are a family, and that's not something that you just don't you just don't cross that line. So yeah, the match, I'll agree with you guys on the rating for that, but this is just the aftermath, just way too far. So yeah, nothing else I'm gonna say. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, the DQ made no sense at all whatsoever. Rollins was an active participant in the match, but for senior referee Chad Patton to just throw it out like that just made no sense at all whatsoever. So, but anywho, then we had this ridiculous basketball segment with the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits. No comment whatsoever. Let's move on from that silliness. Shayna Baszler against Natalya. Shayna Baszler wins the match, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. It was a dominant win for Baszler. Question that comes to my mind, folks, is, do you wonder? I'm wondering, I don't know about any of you guys, but are you wondering if WWE officials are second guessing themselves, saying, boy, I wish we had booked Shayna to win the Raw Women's title at Mania after all, after the revelation of today? So, that's just something to think about right there. And then we had the main event segment. It was not a match. It was a segment. It was the Rated R superstar, Edge, and the Viper, Randy Orton, back in the Performance Center on television for the first time since that insane last man standing match they had at WrestleMania. And Randy Orton simply challenging Edge to a straight up one-on-one wrestling match at the next pay-per-view, Backlash, that'll take place on Sunday night, June the 14th. There's nothing more to say. MF, I mean, if not for the Becky segment at the start, this would have been the segment of the night, because Edge and Orton, they did it again.
The greatest rivalry in wrestling is back at it, and Randy Orton try to be nice, try to be, the humble warrior. I lost to the better man and everything else, but you knew the voices in his head was just gonna say, screw that, get in his face and get him. And sure enough, Charlie Caruso, I don't even know how you got very close to the fire, baby girl. I'm surprised you didn't. You got really close to the fire. I'll say this: Orton made it very clear. Edge, you got very lucky when you dumped me out at Royal Rumble, because you could hide behind 29 other individuals. At WrestleMania, that was your particular match. You were the one that wanted last man standing, so I accepted. Now you play under my terms. my rules. Straight up one-on-one, you and me, mano a mano, no tricks, no gimmicks, no BS, no excuses. And Orton made kind of an interesting point. The ring rust. You know, normally in a last man standing, that's basically a brawl. You could just have the war of attrition. Do you have the heart, the guts, and the will to just go on to stay up before the count of 10? This is more scientific wrestling, more mat style wrestling. This is about to become a wrestling clinic. Anthony Florio, Michael Bullock, get ready, boys, because this is going to be your style of fight. Knockdown, drag out, mat style wrestling. There ain't going to be many. You're going to see a few wrestling holds because they're really more tacticians. But you want to talk about two guys who really knows how to dissect the opponent. Randy Orton is a master at it. He slows the tempo down and he beats you down. Ground and pound, Garvin stomps you. His style of wrestling is what makes him what Edge said, one of the very best in the game. And for Edge, same thing. But we haven't seen Edge's full arsenal. We don't know what he can really bring to the table. We know Orton, but Edge we haven't seen in a long time. Almost a decade since he truly had a real one-on-one fight. Now we're going to get to see it. Now the fun really begins. Rated R Superstar, the Viper laid the challenge out. He could be laying a trap. Are you skillful enough to take it? Or are you foolish enough to think that you're in over your head? Something tells me Orton's going to get the win back here, though. I think they're going to want to stretch this out a little while longer. Maybe one more battle to end it. Maybe at SummerSlam. But Edge got the big victory on the first one. I would not be shocked if Orton gets round 2. Nothing more to say. This was awesome. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this was definitely a really, really good segment to close it out. I mean, like you said, I mean, you basically mentioned it all. I mean, Orton wondered if Edge still had the guts to go through a one-on-one match. He laid the challenge down, and we'll see if Edge takes it, which I think he will. So, Fletch pretty much touched on everything. So, Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, this was a really good segment. And almost, I guess you could say, it's almost as emotional as some of the other ones. But at the same time, you have that driven power that Orton has, not wanting to be, he doesn't want to be the one that's, comes out looking bad, looking like the sheep. He wants to be, the wolf that's strong and wants to take everybody out. And, it started out kind of emotional, him coming out of, doing what he did, trying to be the bigger man. But then, he turned it around, this is what I am. This is what I want to do. Let's do this one more time. And, it was good. They did a good job with it. So, definitely the second best segment of the night. So not much more I'm going to say. It's yours, Florio.
Randy Orton was great here, turning in an excellent promo that poked and prodded at Edge's pride while trying to sucker the Hall of Famer back into the squared circle for another bout. He was manipulative and cerebral, and the result was the heel excellence we have come to expect from Randy Orton. If there was one issue with the entire segment, it was the reluctance with which Edge approached Orton's challenge. After 9 years out, he was fine challenging Orton to a much more dangerous, potentially career-threatening last man standing match at Mania, but a pure wrestling match? Maybe he doesn't want any part of that. Yes, such a match might test his self-confidence as an in-ring performer, but still, shouldn't a guy who prides himself on grit be willing to step up and accept any challenge anyone brings his way? It was just a bit tonally and logically off, even if the rest of the segment was straight fire to close out a very newsworthy episode of Monday Night Raw. Maybe the most newsworthy episode of Raw since the Empty Arena show started 2 months ago. So that's really all there is to say on that. Second best segment of the night. It would have been the segment of the night if it wasn't for all the hoopla at the start. So nothing more to say. Let's get into our overall thoughts. Michael Bullock, a final thought on this very newsworthy show tonight.
Yeah, this was indeed a very newsworthy edition of Raw. The two big stories, obviously highlighted by Becky Lynch saying that she's pregnant and relinquishing the title, and yeah, those good matches with the tag team match. So yeah, this is definitely a newsworthy edition of Raw coming off of Money in the Bank. So nothing more to say. Dee Dee Woodson, it's yours.
I know they usually say, after WrestleMania that's when they start rebuilding the new storylines and stuff, but it seems like that's kind of what they did tonight. That, here it is, we had Money in the Bank and we have some new storylines building, and definitely newsworthy, the very emotional start with Becky Lynch, and you guys said it, it had the same feel as Roman Reigns when he announced his leukemia, just very, very emotional. But at the same time, it's joyful because of the situation that Becky's getting ready to start. And the fact that, Asuka now, she doesn't have to fight another match to get the title. She earned the title unknowingly at Money in the Bank. So, that was really, really good right there. A lot of the storyline starting and progression both in this show. So, and they didn't weigh us down with a ton of matches. They did kind of keep it a little bit, a little shorter than they did in the past. I think the last Raw we had a lot more matches than this. So yeah, they're getting better. And the one segment I'm still a little curious about is AJ Styles. They showed him back there sitting with popcorn watching the little promo they did for the Undertaker thing that they've got going right now. And it makes me wonder, are we through with it with AJ and Undertaker, or is this just a mind game they're just going to have AJ go through for a while until, everybody forgets the Boneyard match? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. And Shayna Baszler, very unprofessional, the comments she made, so not thrilled about that either. You can almost say her and Rollins just went way too far tonight with comments and actions. So not much more I'm going to say about it. It was a fairly good Raw compared to some of the ones we've had lately. So not much more I'm going to add. Good night, guys.
All right, good night, Dee Dee. We'll see you Wednesday night for the Wednesday Night Mayhem. Tonight's Raw was all over the place. Like I said, a newsworthy show. The Becky Lynch news was joyful, and the transition to Asuka went very well given the circumstances. The closing segment was great, and there were some other moments throughout the night that were enjoyable. But then we also had that ridiculous basketball game, R-Truth's Pretty Ricky persona, multiple champions losing non-title matches, and it looks like the brand split rules are being tossed aside for right now. So I don't know. But other than that, one of the most newsworthy Monday Night Raws in recent memory. And that's all there is to say on that, and some solid action. So nothing more to say. MF, put a quick bow on it, and then I'll do a fast Tony's take here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This was an excellent Monday Night Raw, very newsworthy. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens in the very near future. It's gonna be very interesting to watch how this played out. But all in all, solid show, solid event. Um, like we said earlier today, just a lot of excitement going down. And now, like Didi said, the comments that Shayna Baszler did. I'm thinking that was more in character than anything else, but it was very below the belt. That was not the right time to be as gun ho as she was, and the whole 9 yards. Huh?
She went there.
She went there. I get it. You want to make her a badass heel. You want to give her a little bit of some heat. But after news like what Becky dropped tonight, that was not the right moment or the time to do that. So I mean, that was definitely reprehensible. Doesn't make her look any good in the eyes of the WWE universe or in the IWC, especially tonight. As far as the rest of the show goes, it was solid. It was good. SmackDown, they got their work cut out, but we got a lot of things heading up into the show. I mean, A, Otis being Mr. Money in the Bank. B, Braun successfully defending the title and still being the Universal Champion. Now we're gonna have to wait and see how everything plays out, and then of course we still got maybe the storyline between Mandy and Sonya. And Anthony, you alluded to the fireworks on Twitter last night. After when Mandy was very excited about Otis winning, and then Sonya kind of took a dig at Mr. Money in the Bank, and the rebuttal by Mandy that kind of sparked us to salivating over on the Blue brand, saying, "Oh boy, here we go again. It's about to go down." So I mean, we'll wait and see what happens. But all in all, great show, great event. Very good Monday Night Raw. A better Raw than it's been in the last few weeks. Well done, Anthony. Tony's take.
Yeah, and real quick, they announced 2 things for SmackDown Friday night. Otis is going to be the guest on Miz TV. And they also announced, MF, that the Queen, Charlotte Flair, the NXT Women's Champion, is going to be on SmackDown.
Woo!
There's your shot in the arm.
It is always good to have the Queen. And yes, Queen, don't worry. We will roll out the red carpet for you and the whole 9 yards. Charlotte Flair, welcome home, is all I say.
Yes, indeed. And hang here, MF, because there's something that went down on Impact Wrestling that there is actually something on this that I definitely want to get a quick thought from you on, because it's concerning someone you know very well. So
okay.
All right. So here we go. We started it off, Impact Wrestling, and now I'm just going to let you know, I will not be doing any more 205 Live reviews for the time being, because they're continuing to do these best of shows, these matches that made me. This past week it was Oney Lorcan, but one quick bit of news that came out, and that was Jeremy Borash, I guess, is now on the broadcast team for 205 Live, working with Tom Phillips. So that ought to be very, very interesting. So we all know Jeremy Borash in his time at Impact. So. But anyways, this past Impact Wrestling started it off with an in-ring segment with Sami Callihan, interrupted by Ken Shamrock, and then Michael Elgin came out, and well, all hell broke loose during that, so no big surprise there. OVE, Jake Crist, and Madman Fulton went up against Triple XL, Larry D, and AC Romero. Triple XL wins the match in an even 13 minutes. 2 3/4 of a star. Pretty good, if a bit disjointed at times early on, but Triple XL picks up a big win as OVE continues to struggle. Okay, here's the big moment here. Locker room talk, the segment, that's hosted by Madison Rayne and Johnny Swinger. Why, I do not know. Get Swinger out of there. He does not belong anywhere near that. Jessica Havoc was the guest. Now, they addressed about Nevaeh, who, as we all know, is formerly of the Shimmer promotion, works with Madison Rayne. But that's not the big story here. Madison said, "Hey, Havoc, I got another friend of yours from your past that I have brought in here. None other than one of the biggest names in women's wrestling on the independent scene, and someone that MF knows a lot more than I do. MF, I got 2 words for you. Kimber Lee."
Oh my God!
What do you know about that?
Princess Kimber Lee Florio, the first and only female Chikara Grand Champion. That's right. She was the World Heavyweight Champion of Chikara. She was the first to break the barrier that was broken by Sexy Star. Before Sexy Star was the first Lucha Underground World Champion where she had the men's world title, Kimber Lee did it first. She is a legend in the indie circles. I've seen her. Well, Derek Ferreira's got to see her on Beyond Wrestling in Providence at the Fete. A whole bunch of my boys know Kimber Lee really well. Dude, she was amazing. As a matter of fact, I think she did try out for WWE. I think she went by a different name though. And now she's in Impact Wrestling. Oh my goodness. And on top of that, she is a monster name in Shimmer, a huge name in Chikara, which is one of the biggest independent promotions in the world. Oh yeah, she's an IWC darling, is what she is. Oh my God, Impact, you got yourself a shot in the arm.
And you're not gonna be waiting long to see her in action, MF, because tomorrow night on Impact Wrestling, they're throwing her right out there. Kimber Lee is gonna have her first match, and it's gonna be against Jessica Havoc.
Oof. Good luck.
Yes, indeed. So, and real quick, do you know Nevaeh?
I know Nevaeh very well. Yeah, I know she's pretty. Another independent girl. She was pretty good. Not a big name, but she was pretty good. Yeah, I've heard about it. I heard it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, when I was watching the show last week and I saw Kimber Lee, I'm like, Monday Night on Tony's Take, I'm bringing it up to MF because I know how much MF not only respects her but also admires her. So
she's a big name. She's a huge name.
I've heard of the name, and I figured since you know the independent scene a lot more than I do, I had to get your thoughts on it real quick. So definitely appreciate your 96, 97 JR knowledge on that. So back to the action here. The aforementioned Johnny Swinger, he went up against Suicide. Suicide knocked him off in 3 minutes and 45 seconds. 2-star bout. It was all right. Nothing more to say. Josh Matthews interviews Moose, who, as you know, is carrying around the old TNA World Heavyweight Championship belt. He was booked to be in the number 1 contenders tournament, but he is out, and he was replaced by Rohit Raju. Rohit Raju will face Trey Miguel. Now, here's the bracket. Rohit Raju will face Trey Miguel. Sammy Callahan is going to square off against Michael Elgin. Oh, boy, that's got Show Stealer written all over it. Ken Shamrock's going to go up against Rhino, and Madman Fulton will go up against Sean Hernandez. And the winner of this tournament will be the number 1 contender and will face the World Heavyweight Champion Tessa Blanchard when Tessa is ready to come back from her self-quarantine down in Mexico. But anyways, Cousin Jake against Joseph P. Ryan. Joseph P. Ryan wins in 9 minutes, 1.5 stars. Yeah, not good at all. Heel stalling. It was a tool to create heat. It makes it useless in an empty arena setting. There are no fans to anger. So the viewer on television comes off as boring, and it was just killing time. It was tedious, repetitive, boring. Nothing more to say. Worst fight of the night. Actually, no. The North against 2 absolute nerds. 45 seconds. Enough said. Next week on this show, Jessica Havoc will go up against Kimber Lee. Rohit Raju against Trey Miguel. Sean Hernandez against Madman Fulton. and Moose defending, I guess, the TNA World Heavyweight title against Suicide. The main event was a triple threat match for the X Division Championship. Willie Mack versus Chris Bay and former champion Ace Austin. Willie Mack successfully defends the title in 19 minutes and 5 seconds. Clear fight of the night, 3.5 stars. Took a while to get going, really got locked in. But once it did, they had a really good match. Mack winning right now was the right decision, as was Austin taking the fall to protect Chris Bay. So nothing more to say on that. Show started off strong, playing off of the Rebellion event well, which later led to the tournament announcement, which was really smart due to not having the full roster at the taping, needing to fill TV time, and being uncertain when Tessa can come back. No comment on that North stuff. I like what they're doing with Moose as the over-the-top delusional, quote-unquote, TNA champion. A lot of mileage there, especially with recent WWE releases when things get back to normal. They laid strong groundwork for the company coming out of Rebellion. Unfortunately, outside of the main event, the in-ring really lacked and held the show quality down. It was a really solid show as they laid the groundwork for the weeks to come. So you already know the announcements that we can expect for Impact tomorrow night. Now, tomorrow night, let me tell you, folks, it's going to be a big night of professional wrestling stuff here. Not just Impact Wrestling at 8 p.m. on Access TV with the Encore at 11. I don't often do this, but I have to. This is something that I got to address, and it's going to be awesome. For the first time, I believe, on cable, network television, or what have you, tomorrow night on Fox Sports 1 at 8 o'clock with an encore at 1:30 in the morning, they're going to show in its entirety, I'm assuming it's in its entirety, the full event of WrestleMania 3. Can you believe that? 8 p.m. tomorrow night, Fox Sports 1. They're going to air WrestleMania 3. Mark out moment for me because that's my all-time personal favorite WrestleMania. I don't give a crap. That is awesome. And then followed by Backstage, of course. And Otis is going to be on Backstage. So there's another big moment right there. And then to top off this epic night of professional wrestling stuff tomorrow night, Le Champion himself, Chris Jericho, is going to be the special guest on MTV's Ridiculousness with Rob Dyrdek, Steel O'Brim, and Chanel West Coast. Can you imagine the interaction between Le Champion and Chanel West Coast? That's going to be must-see television right there. So a big night of professional wrestling action tomorrow night. So watch what you can. That's all I can say. So that'll do it for this. We want to thank you also very much for tuning into this very exciting edition of Ridiculously Raw, this very busy show tonight. MF, real quick, let's set the table for Wednesday Night Mayhem. Is it going to be the same time as it has been the last few weeks?
Same time as always in the last few weeks, 10 p.m. Eastern, right after the show goes off the air. AEW and NXT, and that's really it. So, yeah, Florio, it's yours.
And then Friday night, Cerebral Smack Talk from there. So back to our normal week, and then we go back to Raw after that. So that'll do it. So until Wednesday, for Wednesday Night Mayhem with good old MF Michael Fletcher over on Brace Fan 95, it is your ridiculous over good brother Anthony Florio here. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem with MF over on Brace Fan 95, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed, as we saw tonight, wrestling is indeed, can be actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, anybody was so long, bye, everybody, bye.